Wow, this is what showed up today. Several weeks ago, I already pulled this out. Several weeks ago I cut this opal right here that I liked. And so I specifically ordered a ring off the dimensions of this. I ordered two of them while I was at it. I had cut that one and that one that were roughly the same size. And I got a ring to fit them. So we got that. This is going to be nearly impossible to do with one hand. But now we're going to go out and finish setting that stone into that ring. The length, it should be pretty close. It just needs slight tweaking to be able to fit in there. And the other one, I ordered two of them. I don't think I'll set that one. I think I'll wait till I have a stone that I like a little bit better. But we can get that one on, and I will start wearing that one. Okay, so here's the ring. Pretty cool. I don't think this is sterling silver, but I think I paid maybe $30 for this setting. This is the stone that we're wanting to set in it. I think we're very close. We just need to tweak the width. I think the length will be perfect. I hope, because obviously, if anything, it's going to be too short. But if it doesn't work, we'll end up cutting something else for the ring. But if it works, we just need it to, this corner needs to come down just a little bit so that it lays down in there. Oh, wait a minute, is it in there? It might have just actually dropped in there. It might actually already fit. No. I think we'll tweak it just a little bit. Got the water on, it just hasn't quite got here yet. All it takes right there. All right, well, there we go. See if we like that. All right, so there it is, just sitting in there. I think we've got, I wish it was already just a fraction short lengthwise, but widthwise we had to take a little bit off to make it fit. But I think it's going to be fine if we split the difference between that little teeny bit that it's not quite there. I think we'll be fine. If it was any more, I would just wait and set a different stone. But so all I'm going to do is I'm going to take and put just a little bit of glue in the corners here, because this is basically, I'm not going to try and roll that bevel up and hold it in. This is basically a glue-in setting. So I'm going to use this UV resin. It's a 5-second resin. It doesn't cure till you put UV light on it, but then it cures pretty quick. So I'm going to put a little bit in each corner. Maybe even down the side. Really try not to get it up on the ring itself. We're about to glue it to my finger here, I think. We want it about right. There's where we want it. Make sure it's all the way in there. Then we'll hit it with the UV. The little bit that's exposed on the top here should harden. And all I'm really wanting it to do is hold it in place long enough for me to be able to flip it and put a better coat underneath it to hold it in place. So let's see if that worked. Yep. Yep, we glued it to my finger. Okay, and I'm just going to add a little bit more. And that, if we cared, we could get the little bubbles out. Maybe. Okay. Hit that with some UV. It's a 5-second UV. This light that I'm using here isn't quite as strong as the one that I use most of the time, so it doesn't cure quite hard in 5 seconds, but just that quick right there. It's starting to set up. Just wanting to make sure it's good and set up. So the only downside to ordering these inexpensive settings is they take, weeks, 2, 3, 4 weeks, usually average of 3 weeks to get to me. So you have to wait and you have to be a little bit patient. But let me wipe the fingerprints off of it. And there is there's our ring. That'll be like a daily driver that I'll wear. Right now I'm wearing this one. The opal in this one is really nice, but I don't particularly care for the setting. I thought I would like it more, but it's currently the one I'm wearing. Because this one that I set, I actually cracked the second day I wore it, so I need to replace that one. But I just usually like to have a conversation piece, I guess. Tell me what you think. Pretty quick, pretty easy. Nice way to be able to wear the opals that you cut. Alright, there it is complete. And tell me what you think. I think if you were looking for a way to make your opals that you're cutting more marketable and more easily sellable, something like that is not terribly expensive, but it adds a lot of value and it makes them very useful to anybody that might like to wear a men's opal ring. Alright, the goal tonight is 2 eyeballs. No. 2 8mm rounds for a set of earrings. So that's what we're going to try and do. We got a little bit more to come off of this one than that one. So long on the fine wheel. The arcer's not wanting to stay on it because these were already polished. My opinion is that a round stone is the hardest one to cut. To me, there's a little bit of forgiveness in an oval or a Cushing cut or anything like that, but a round is just sometimes even if we can't tell where the problem is, your eye can say, hey, that's not round. So that's as far as we're going to go to start with. There's one. Here's number 2. You might wonder why I'm cutting down 2 finished stones. Well, one, these 2 were similar enough in body tone and pattern that they would make a set. And 2, till something shows up, I'm out of rough. The reason why I'm out of rough is that I had to send a bunch back. I wasn't gonna keep it because I wasn't happy with it. But that means I'm kind of scrounging for stuff to do. I've got a Boulder Opal parcel that's been more than a month on the way that it should have been here by now, and various other things. But all right, so here's the earring we're going in. See if we're getting warm. Okay. We got this one right here, right there. I think by the time we polish it'll be just right. Let me take it down just a little bit. How close is my circle? Not perfect. And part of that is that we still got this part right here rolled. If you see, if I turn it like this, it looks like I'm missing that side, but if I turn it straight down, I got a fairly consistent round. I'm hoping we get it into a little bit better color as we go down on this one. It's a little bit thicker than the other one. Now I'm just perfecting the circle while I'm taking it down. Okay. Still a little big. This one's got a little bit of chaff in it. Right. I'm having it right in there. Showed up better before, but I might have cut out some of the chaff when I cut it down. Now I want the whole thing, now that I'm happy with the certain shape, I got to try and reduce it in size without it affecting its shape. We're getting very close. Just about there. You gotta go slow. You can't put more back on. It probably isn't quite as noticeable if there's a slightest bit of an imperfection once it's set, because it's going to be somewhat hidden by that base metal underneath. But you still want it to be perfect. Kind of a, I think of sherbet ice cream when I see this type of color pattern. I don't know what you guys think. Kind of a sun flash. Part of it hurts a little bit. There we go. It hurts a little bit to cut these stones down to be smaller than they were. But on the other hand, the purpose is to set them in jewelry. And if by cutting them down I can accomplish that, then that's really the purpose anyway, and I'm happier. I got kind of a small box of finished stones, or nearly finished stones, that might need a little polish or something on them, but at a certain point they need to all get in. Look at that. Sun flash, broad flash. It's got some chaff pattern in it. I think we can get the rest of it on the 1200 grit. Time to roll our dome on this one. It's already slightly rolled on one side, and this one's got a little bit thinner color bar and less potch underneath. So this one I got to be more careful. I'll probably have to take a little bit off the bottom of the other stone to get an equal amount of thickness on these. I have a pretty decent dome on both of them though. Just a little bit of, it's hard to tell because you get that little bubble of water on there and it makes everything look off. Alright, polishing wheel. Alright, we're on the same one here. Red, blue, green. Okay, let's see if we drop in place or we're getting ahead of ourselves. Ooh, I think we're there. The doping wax is stopping it from going all the way down, but I think we're right there. That's right where that one wants to be. And if I would quit throwing this into the grinding wheels, it would probably help. That one's ready to be polished right there. Alright, let's try this one. Getting the doping glue off this one. got storm clouds. That's what it reminds me of, is lightning rolling through storm clouds. I don't know what the right thing to call it is, but that's what I picture when I see it, as just a storm brewing, lightning rolling through it. Alright, let's see if this one fits. I have a feeling this one's a little bit big still. Yep, nope. No, I think we're right there. I think we're right there. Felt like that was going to be a little bit tight, so ready to polish. Man, I love that. That has got everything. January's always bitter. Lord, this one beats on. The wind ain't quit for weeks now. The drifts are 10 feet tall. I've been all night driving heifers closer in the lower ground. And I spent a long time thinking about the ones the wolves pulled down. Charlie Barton and his family stopped today to say goodbye. Said the bank was taking over. The last few years were just too dry. And I promised that I'd visit when they found a place in town. Then I spent the morning thinking about the ones the wolves pulled down. Lord, please shine a light of hope on those of us who fall behind. And when we stumble in the snow, would you help us up while there's still time? I don't mean to be complaining, Lord. You've always seen me through. And I know you've got your reasons for each and everything you do. But tonight outside my window, there's a lonesome, mournful sound, and I can't keep from thinking about the ones the wolves pulled down. Oh Lord, keep me from being one of the ones the wolves pulled down. Nice set of earrings. All right, so I actually test fit these I think on some of these, it depends on how much you have to work with and how thick your stone is that you had to work with. But because these are a little bit thinner stones, I thought the prongs were going to be a little bit too tall and proud on them and too prominent. So I trimmed the prongs down and buffed the ends. So that's kind of where that one's going to sit. Just going to creep these prongs in a little bit till I have it, make sure I have it centered where I want it. And once I have the stone centered where I want it, I'll actually glue the back, and that helps hold it in place. For me to, sometimes when I try to bend the prongs in the last little bit, it'll shove the stone right or left unless it's glued in and held in place. So that's why I like to just get it kind of lightly pinched in place. Make sure it's centered. It's about right. But it's not quite pinched in there. We need a little bit more. All right, I got some glue in there. It's supposed to be 5-second epoxy or resin. We'll give it a good 10 or 15 seconds to make sure it sets up good. And then once I get the glue to where it's actually holding the stone in place a little better, that'll let me be able to adjust the prongs. So you can see I cut almost a third off of those prongs. If I had not cut them, they'd be dang near touching in the middle. I think the smaller settings have about the perfect size and the bigger ones, but these medium-sized ones, I've found that if I don't trim the prongs a little bit, I just think there's too much prong involved. Even that's probably a little bit more than I would have liked, but I think we can live with that. I took at least a third off of those. So while I'm going to let the UV light on that one, let me put it out here where you can see what it's doing. It's just basically sitting there with the light shining on it. Now we can these little ones are so slippery and little. Anyway, that one goes right there. Not upside down, right there. So we'll sneak our prongs in a little bit at a time till I'm centered. Sometimes, so I have this little tool here, and sometimes if I need to sneak the prongs back out, I can pry them out. Like here, we've got this side kicked up and this one's set too low, so I can pull that out. Just, it doesn't take much to push them down. And then I just kind of keep working it till I feel like I have my stone centered. I'm doing it way out in front of me here so you can see on the camera. Okay, well there's that one. That'll work. This one right here is just about done drying.